everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you another video doing a project with a Craftbox UK subscription box. These are beautifully collated pieces that all color coordinate, have a theme, and it's a subscription box, so you're paying a monthly fee and the box comes to you and you get all these products. It's always a surprise what you're going to get. This one is very spring-like. There's pastels, there's birds, there's all kinds of gorgeous findings, ribbons, lace, pearls, gems, resin pieces, metal pieces. There's even a necklace in there that's so cute. It's got two branches with a little bird's nest hanging from it. There's beautiful 6x6 papers. There's sequins. There's these really interesting washi stickers. It's the first time I've ever seen a washi sticker, which is basically a sticker made out of rice paper. So it's kind of translucent and has that washi feel to it, but it's a sticker, it's, rather than a tape. There's all kinds of things in this box, and they all go together. There's cutouts. There's these boxes are beautiful, people. They're beautiful. This is the third one I've received. Of course, I will tell you that I received this box in exchange for making this video, but the opinions are my own. I really love, there's all those washi stickers. Love those washi stickers. And there's enough in this box to make multiple projects. I'm just going to make one project in this video, but I have enough left over to probably make 3 or 4 more things. There's stencils, there's die cuts. There's some of the beautiful printed coordinated papers. Look at all those cute little birdies, flowers. So what I decided to make is a mixed media canvas that is a shadow box. So this is a 8x8 stretched canvas that I purchased in a multi-pack. Nothing special. And instead of using the front of it, I'm going to use the back side of it. So the first thing I'm doing is using white gesso to cover everything that's there, the staples, the back side of the canvas, the wood pieces, all of it covered with white gesso. Then I want to not see all these features of the back. They're not particularly pretty, so I want to cover them up. This is a piece of tag board, and I measured the width of the little frame area in the back, cut it to the right size. It's 2.5 inches, I believe. 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches maybe. And I gessoed those pieces as well. Gesso is a primer, so it seals the paper and gets it ready to go. I want to have on the inside of my shadow box, shadow boxes are very dimensional. You have things inside, you have things outside, you have, a much more textural piece having all these multiple layers coming in and out. I wanted a birdie like this little one that's on the thank you postcard. And by the way, the Craftbox UK's packaging alone, you can make so much stuff with just the packaging. The packaging is always coordinated to what's in the box. So not only do you get all the products in the box, but you get all these little cards that are printed with birds and flowers and things. And they're beautiful too. So anyway, I wanted a 3-dimensional bird. So I am using Makin's clay, which is an air dry polymer clay, to sculpt a little bird. It's kind of flat on the back side because it's going to be glued inside the shadow box. And it's got some wings and some feathers, and nobody would ever call me a sculptor by any means, but I'm trying to make something that you could identify as a bird to go with my project, because there was so many cute birds in this package from Craftbox UK. And a very, very exciting news, they have a website now that is in dollars instead of pounds. It's, the USA website. They still have the UK website, then they also have one for the United States, so that you don't have to try to figure out how much 5 pounds sterling is in dollars for those of you from the United States. I know I have viewers from everywhere, so The boxes are still sent from the UK, but you can find out how much they cost in dollars. And I will have all the links to all those places that you can visit to see these products in the box below the video. Of course, I always do. And also, these products some of them can be purchased separate from the box. The subscription box is a monthly box that you get. You pay the subscription price. But there's also some of these papers and resin pieces and die cuts and all those type of things on their website separately. So you can go and check that out and, maybe buy a paper pad or something like that that is not contained within the subscription if you want something that you see. So I'm still fussing with my little bird. I finally set it aside to dry, and I can't really tell you how long it takes to dry because I didn't wait until it was completely dry before I painted it. So I'm back to working on covering up the staples and the back side of that canvas. So I'm taking my strips and I'm marking from corner to corner, from the inside corner to the outside corner, and then trimming those edges so that it's kind of like a mitered frame. Remember, this is just cheap tag board. It's actually an envelope, a cardboard envelope that I cut up. Not a big deal. Then my next challenge is to cover the inside lip of the box, and that was 3/4 of an inch. So I cut that same tag board in 5 by 3 1/4. And then I'm going to use the papers. Beautiful papers. They remind me of spring. I'm ready for spring. I don't want any more cold weather. I know friends of mine are in the midst of what they consider a snowpocalypse. So, yeah, enough of that stuff. Let's get flowers and birds and warm weather and green leaves and all that out. That's what we need. So I trimmed the piece that has some pretty pink flowers on it down to 5 by 5. This is an 8 by 8 canvas, but the inside part is 5 by 5, which does mean that the sides are 1.5, because that would be 3 plus, yeah. Okay. Those side pieces were 1.5 inches. So then I use some matte gel medium glue to glue the little extra strips that I've trimmed off the sides to those inner strips and put them inside the box. So now it's covered on the inside. The inside edge, lip, whatever, is got the same type of papers. And on that left side, it actually matches up perfectly. There's a little butterfly that I trimmed off, and I made that butterfly match the paper that's going to be in the background. But of course, the piece was 6 by 6 to begin with, so by the time I cut off 3/4 of an inch on two sides, it was going to be just a little bit bigger than what I needed to fit in there. So the top and bottom are cut from a different piece because I didn't have enough paper. So then I do the same thing on the other side, on the right side, and then I'm gluing down the paper, decoupaging it on with this Liquitex matte gel medium so that it's in the furthest inside section of the shadow box. So it's the background. Then I am gluing on with Aleene's Tacky Glue, which is a pretty useful PVA glue. Getting that to glue the sides down to cover up the staples. And then I have these other two pieces that I've trimmed off from a different piece of paper that was in the pack to put in the top and bottom edge. And then I'll glue on my other two frame pieces, and now it's a true shadow box. I've covered up all the things that are unattractive on the backside of the frame on the canvas and made it look much better. Is this all worth it? This is just a different way of making a mixed media canvas with all your great stuff from Craftbox. It's just fun to have the dimension like this, especially when you have so many pieces like silk flowers and metal charms and all these things to glue onto it. So fun stuff. So once that is all glued down, then I need to start thinking about what to put on this outer frame. So I got out a 1.5-inch square punch, and I'm punching squares and also like punching little pictures, basically. Like if there's a little birdie and I want to cut that little birdie, then I turn it upside down and punch it so that it's a framed little 1.5-inch square piece of the little birdie. And some of them don't have a focal image. That one has a butterfly, but some of them are just a flower or whatever. And I'm just using the different pieces in the package to do this. And what it's giving me is an interesting, almost tile looking frame that has all these beautiful spring colors. We got your light pink, light blue, some yellow, you know, very pastel, very reminiscent of spring. And yeah, beautiful, beautiful stuff. I even use one of the postcards that comes, you know, that tells you what's in the box. I punched out one of those little birds, so you can certainly use the packaging as well, like I said before. So then the 1.5 inches don't exactly, 5 of them don't add up to 8 inches. So on each framed area, I had a little, I guess it's probably, I don't know, 1/2 inch that I needed to cover. And there's these punch out ephemera pieces that have, a lot of them were like little envelopes with flowers spilling out of them and little floral wreaths and stuff like that, little label things that have flowers all the way around. So I decided to use a couple of those to make a little cutout flower scene to cover those blank spots to fill in. Worked out beautifully. They're on some type of a lightweight paper that's a little bit more coarse than the printed paper, but you couldn't tell a difference. So then I go and attach all these square tiles all the way around the frame using the same Liquitex matte gel medium. I do spray the paper so that it's a little bit more pliable to make sure that it adheres very well without any bubbles or anything. And I am conscious of where I'm putting things. However, the end product may not look like I cared which square went in which place so much. But I did. I promise I was very careful. And this is covering up that tag board card so you don't even see it at all, which was my purpose. That's the reason that I gessoed it and got it ready. Worked out really cool. It looks great. And then that will mean that everything from the front, inside the box, in the back of the box, up the inside and back out the front again is all covered with this gorgeous printed paper. You know, I like to glue paper to stuff. That's the little piece that was on the thank you postcard, or maybe the one that has the list of what's in the box that I punched out right there at the top on the right. It does look a little bit different. It's a little bit more vibrant, but not noticeably so. And then I'm filling in with those little cut flower pieces that I trimmed out of the ephemera pack. I could have probably made a little strip that was the same printed paper, you know, little tiny strip, but I just thought this looked better. I thought it was more interesting to have those little contrast pieces of the cutout flowers. So there you have it, all beautifully covered with papers. Make sure it's all sealed with the matte medium. Everything is stuck down very well. So then it's time to start thinking about what I'm going to put inside the box and on the outside frame of the box. And so I start to get out some things to play with, but then I realize that the sides of the frame need some attention. So I got out some modeling paste. It's the light modeling paste from Golden, which dries fairly quickly. And the little stencil. The stencil has a couple branches, like cherry blossom tree branches with flowers on them. And I use that to go all the way around the edge of the frame, making a textural, you know, kind of like a relief by putting the molding paste through the stencil with a palette knife. I don't show you all of this. This project, start to finish, took about 4.5 hours. So of course everything's been sped up and I've trimmed out some parts. So you always get this gorgeous piece of ribbon on the outside of the box. It's just, they tie the box and it's like a present when you get it. You open it up, it's this little present with a bow, you untie it, and then it has a magnetic closing box. And in a past video, I actually used the products to cover the box and make a keepsake box out of it. I will link those other projects that I've made with different boxes in the iCard and at the end screen so that you can go watch them. So now I am auditioning things. I'm putting things on, trying to figure out where I want things to go. And, you know, this is always a fun process. You get everything out, you spread it all out, you figure out where you're going to put something, what, you know, what color flower, are you going to use the pearls, are you going to use the die cut thing. And probably the hardest part of this process is to not go overboard. You know, I may have tipped a little bit past the overboard on this particular project because there are so many cool things and I wanted to use them all, but you can't use them all because it's just a small little 8x8 shadow box canvas. So I tied a bow out of some of the ribbon. I want to use one of the silk flowers, and it was too big, so I peeled some of it back to make it a little bit smaller. You can do that. You can take it apart. It's not going to be the end of the world if you pull a flower apart. I wanted to use the little teardrop pearls. I wanted to use the resin flowers. I wanted to use some of the metal, cute little metal charm pieces. Of course, that laser cut die cut that says I Dream of Spring is the perfect thing to go on there, so I needed to use that. And of course, I have my little air dry clay bird that I want to paint to match the one that is on the thank you postcard. And so I got out some acrylic paints. I'm painting it, trying to make it match as much as possible. I think it's pretty cute. I was hesitant about it. I didn't know for sure how it would turn out, but I think it turned out pretty cute. Mixing my own couple of blues and then some white gesso and some Payne's gray, which is almost black but not quite, for the details, and then coming back in highlighting some of the feathers again in the white. Then I get out some very pastel-y colors. I've of course got white gesso, and I gesso the laser cut, die cut. I gesso the sides to make sure that all that molding paste is sealed in and everything is primed and, you know, not going to go anywhere. Then I have some light rose and some light robin's egg blue and some pastel yellow color acrylic paint and some white gesso, and I'm just using those paints to color the die cut, to color the sides of the canvas. And I'm using a sponge to do a lot of that, a little sponge pouncer to apply the paint. It's a little bit easier on, you know, this type of an application to do that. I colored all the butterflies with the yellow. I made my own kind of pale green color by mixing some of the yellow and blue together with some of the white gesso. And everything is very pastel and very serene and calm and lots of birdies and flowers. So then I start to assemble everything. Of course, I've got to glue everything down. So again, I'm using the Aleene's Tacky Glue. I also use some iCraft mixed media glue because it has a very fine point so it's easy to put the glue exactly where you want. But most of it was glued with tacky glue. I'm gluing the silk flower in the upper corner. I'm going to glue the pearly trim, teardrop type trim across the bottom. I have my yellow bow to glue on in the lower right hand corner. That's a little resin piece that has a bird in a nest with some little eggs in it. I've got these resin flowers to kind of scatter around on the left side, and then on the right side I have a metallic charm that's like a branch and then a bird. And pretty happy with that. That was edited from what I had originally. I had everything on there originally, but I did try to trim it down some. So then this is a piece of packaging material that has a texture to it. And it's just paper. It's brown paper, craft color. And I'm cutting it into strips and then wadding it up and shaping it and making it into a nest. Most of the birds in the paper, the printed paper, are in nests. So I wanted to duplicate that. So I glue all that into the corner and make sure that it's all tucked in and it looks nesty. And then I just put my little bird right there to sit on the corner of the box like a bird would. You know, sometimes they come and live on your porch and they make a little nest on the top of the corner of the eaves or something. That's what it reminded me of. Then there's some gems, and they're this beautiful green, light green color. So I start gluing those around. That's when I use the iCraft mixed media glue, because it has that little tiny fine point where you can put it. There's some bigger gems that were kind of a diamond shape, and I thought that they looked like they might be leaves. So I put a couple of those by my flowers. And then I'm just scattering those tiny little green ones around just for little twinklies all around. And I also give my little bird one of those as an eye. So I hope you've enjoyed this mixed media canvas in the reverse for a shadow box. If you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment or question below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on your notification bells. You can share this on Pinterest, share it on Facebook. All those things are really great for my channel. Also, in the description box below the video, there is links to the new website for CraftBox. That's for the United States, and also links to the CraftBox website for the UK and Europe. I'll have both of those links down there, as well as links to some of the products that I use if I can, find them. And my last finishing thing, like I always do every time, is to add shadows and highlights. I'm using this water-soluble crayon from Neocolor 2, the dark gray, and I just write it down onto my under paper and then pick it up with a water tank brush, and I'm adding the shadows around and making things look like they're more unified, not just stuck on there, but like they were meant to be there. And I do that around the front and also on the sides where all that relief detailing is from the stencil and the modeling paste. And then the final thing that I do is to take this outside and give it a good coat of gloss spray varnish so that it's all sealed in, because of course this is a water soluble product that I use to do the shading. And then, of course, highlights with the white Posca pen, which is an acrylic paint pen. And I also added some sparkle with a Spectrum Noir clear glitter pen over everything, because it's spring and there should be sparkle. It has mica in it. It's pretty. It's hard to see on the video, though. So here comes your close-ups. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.